So for step 28, the battery holder, well, you can see that we've got to grab the B7 part, and if you wanted the transponder for this, you'd want to grab the B3 part and attach it with the screw. Well, I'm not going to use the transponder for this kit, so when you see what's needed for this, really, there's nothing to do, because we're going to put these two pieces aside and we just need our battery holder, which means that instead of moving here, we're going to go to step 29 and install the battery pack. But you can see here, and if you remember back in step 9, they had some grayed out screws that you needed to put on. This is where we do it. So we're going to end up installing these BC11 pieces with the BC12 and 10. And then we're going to be able to install the battery cover on top with some pins. So I'm going to grab these parts here and we will install those on the chassis. So for step 29, installing the battery pack, well, there's going to be some differences with this depending on whether you're setting this up for the short, medium, or long wheelbase setting. So we'll go through that, but you can see that we've got the mount screws, the snap pins, and then we have these tapping screws because there's this piece here that you need to attach, and depending on whether you did the medium length or the long wheelbase setting, this piece here is going to be either further forward or further back. And obviously with ours, we're going with the long wheelbase, so this has got to be further back. So those are also the two little bits that we need, what is it, the BC12 and BC10 that have to be installed as well. So I'll set this up and we'll put this together. So first off, I think we'll install this battery stopper piece, which you can see there's the 4 screws, and the way this is placed is the flat is facing towards the battery, you could say. So you can see down here that there are 4 screw holes. This is going to sit down here in that place. So the flat end is facing towards the battery. So let's install that first. So I'm going to just put that down there. There's some notches that kind of hold it together. I'm going to grab the screwdriver here. Hold it in. And do the same thing on the other side. And these are the 2 flathead screws, so they'll be nice and flush with the base of the chassis. Again, I'm not going to over tighten here. I just want to make sure that they're definitely in place. There we go. Everything's nice and flush on the bottom, and now it's sitting there just like that, and the battery will rest up against it. So that part is done. Now the next step is we need to put these on. So if you look at the BC11 and BC12, well, let's grab one of those, and we need the smaller. The BC12 was the thinner one, and I can check that by simply going to the parts tree because there are more bits here, and you can see that the 12 is thinner and the 10 is a lot wider. So we know we've got the right one here. So you can see that we're going to have to put this on, and the way this needs to go is you put it into the hole facing towards the servo. Like I said, it's a very weird diagram up there to the way they're showing it, but this is the correct placement right here. And we'll screw that into place. And we're screwing into hard plastic. So you'll know when you get to the end. There we go. And the way they're showing the holes, they're wanting it this way, which I've done. So you can see that if I stick that pin through, it's pretty much in that direction. So I'm going to take that out again. We don't need that right now. But we do need to use this BC10 piece, and you can see it's going to go into the top corner right here. So put that on there, and we'll screw that into place. Just make sure that's correct. Yes. Looks about right, but I'm going to hold it this way so I can see, because I can still see there's a gap. And there we go. And same again, they're showing you that the pin is going to go front to back, just like on the other side. So what do we have left? Well, you can see that, I mean, I'll put in a battery just for fun here. We'll put in the battery down there. See how it is sitting right there, leaves room for the wires to come out at the top. And we grab this and we'll stick that on both sides, and then we'll take the pin slide that through, and now you can see that the battery is firmly in place, and then we can connect this if we want to. Now, I'm not going to do that right at this moment, but it means that that is complete. Now, the last thing that we do need to do is put this onto the servo. Now, like I said, it seems like it's not quite level, but as I went through this, I decided it's just by using the trims on the remote, we should be fine. So I'm going to snap this into place now. So let's make sure that that works. Nope, I'll use the pliers. There we go. So there is our steering tie rod on. So you can see it's slightly out, but with using the trims, it will trim it into place. And I think that's what we'll do. So now that everything is in place, we can call step 29 finished. So we've got just one more step to go, which is step 30, and we're going to attach the body mounts. So for step 30, attaching the body mounts, well, we've got to grab these C9 pieces, and then for the front, we've got the C1 pieces, and then there's a number of screws, and then you can see there is this antenna piece that's got to go on. Now, there are the screws that we need, and it is showing that there is another placement for the antenna if you want, but I'm not going to use it at all. I don't want this going through the body. So I will not be installing this at all, or this piece right here. I've just decided for this one, I'm not going to do it. So there are the body mount pieces that we need. So I'll set this up and we'll put them on. So let's work on the rear ones first. And you can see it's the C9 piece, and they are to be installed facing forward. So you can see that we're going to take one of our screws here. It's going to go into the bottom, and it's going to get screwed onto here, just like that. So I'll grab the screwdriver. It would come out. Let's do it that way. There we go. I have to make sure it's out of the way of the motor wires, but it seems to be. Now, they are tapping screws, but again, just be a little careful as you do it. It seems fine. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Grab our screw, turn that around, put that into here. This will be a fairly quick process. Still needs to be a little bit more. There we go. And now we're going to be working on the front. So let's grab these guys here. And you can see that the way they're attached to that front brace that we had here. So that's going to sit in here just like that and like that. Just checking to make sure that it actually is going in properly. Yeah, still need to screw that in a bit more. There we go. And our last one. So we'll grab this, slide that over there. Actually, let's put the screw in there first. Put that on top. Grab our screwdriver. And we'll screw it in place. And there we go. Turn that back. So there we have our M-06 chassis with the body mounts on. Now I'm not going to do anything about the length of these until the body's actually finished and I figure out exactly where I want to cut them so that they're at body height level. But if you have been building along, this is the end of the actual chassis part of the build series for the M-06. Very, very cool. The next step is going to be the body set for the Karmann Ghia, and so there's a whole other set of instructions that we go through for that, and I'll continue doing the build series for that specific car, which I'm sure the video is going to be right there. There's a link to it, and we'll keep going with the body set. But if you're building any type of M-06, this part of the build is now finished. And hopefully this series has been very helpful for you and your build. And do please comment, let me know that this has been helpful, or if there's other questions or things that come up and you'd like some other help with. I'm always happy to answer. So we are finished with our M-06 chassis build. So until next time, we'll see you in another video.